It is April 21st. I remember when it was April 1st and I thought this whole thing was like April Fool's Day, but we just keep on having these days that just keep turning into months. I guess it's hours and minutes that turn into days and months alone together here. And I'm really happy that we have this meeting every day at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and who knows, midnight in Europe, and maybe it's a nice time of day for you in Australia. In any case, it's nice to be here with you, and we're in the Alone Together Meditations. It's a series that got started simply because we had some requests for it, and we knew that meditation and mindfulness and appreciation and contentment were some of the greatest antidotes for the dysregulation which causes anxiety and fear and stress and that whole, I mean, there's so many emotions. And I think being alone quite often exacerbates kind of the drama and the contrasting emotions that are coming and going. And so when we have a way to settle down and connect and be together, to move into meditation and settle your nervous system, it really gives you a chance to create a sanctuary inside yourself and in your body and in your home and in your world, the world that we've created. There was a great, you know what, I'm going to talk about something before I talk about that great quote. I want to talk a little bit about one of my favorite poets who's long has gone now. His name is John O'Donohue. He's a Celtic poet from Ireland, and he talks about the inner landscape of beauty. And of course, I live in a gorgeous place. I'm here in Santa Barbara, and I always make sure I live in a beautiful place if possible. You know what? I'll put it this way. Every place is beautiful, and I notice the beauty. And you know what you look for, you will find. So you can look around your place right now, whether you're in New York City or in Turks and Caicos Islands, or whether you're in Santa Barbara or you're in Arizona, just look around and see the beauty that's here.
Sarah,
It's
right now
everywhere.
down in Sydney, it's 9:05 tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, yes, and we know that they can join us, and they sometimes do, from the Southeast Asia. So I want to read you a quote from John O'Donohue. Beauty unfolds in the becoming of a person, and it increases in us as we pass through life's most harrowing thresholds. And I'll just put in parentheses, of which the coronavirus is one. It is found in the realm of the invisible, where we share with and inspire others. It is found in time, in mindfulness, and the unseen places of the heart. Quite often when we talk about meditation, we talk a little bit about the subtle realms, the subtler realms, as we withdraw our attention from the world that we're navigating with our senses, and we start to become a little more aware of the subtler sensations of the body, the subtler sounds of the body, the subtler sense of sight as we imagine colors or light. We move to the subtler, even subtler sense of taste and smell. And we move to the subtlest, you know, the most potent aspect of our lives is the subtlest aspect. And if you think about it, you know, Einstein was always trying to decode where we were all arising from, right? He always was in search of from where do we arise? And he came up with the unified field theory, which he'd been working on. I think he worked on it until he died. And where is it that we arise from? From where, from whence, and how? And if you look at the more subtle aspects of creation, you find there is the most power. And let's talk about that right now in terms of your life. So your emotions are pretty powerful, right? That's your inner landscape, your emotions. They can, hormones in addition are also very powerful. You can't necessarily see them, smell them, taste them, or touch them, but you certainly can feel the effects of them. Same with your emotions. But same with some of the building blocks of creation, such as gravity, right? We're not floating around our rooms, although maybe we feel like we are, but you're not floating around your room. It's because of that subtle, ephemeral, but powerful aspect of gravity. And he found, I'm closing my window here. He found that along with gravity, another subtle building block of creation is electricity. Now you're an electric being. You've got actually neutrons and protons and electrons, right? You've got electricity that's going through your body. That's what's keeping your heart beating, is the electricity. That's why people, when they need a pacemaker, their nerve isn't firing quite right, right? So you're made up of electricity. But if you look around, you can't see electricity anywhere, but you can see the effects of it, just like gravity. You're not floating around the room. You can flip on a switch and turn on a light in most cases. Most of us can. And so you can't see electricity, but you can see the effect of it. You can't see gravity, but you can feel the effects of it. And they go without even coming to our awareness, don't they? They exist without even really for us being aware of them. And then what else do we have that's subtle in those realms is magnetism. Magnetism is constantly happening inside your body. You've got the negative and the positive. I don't know what they would be, electrons perhaps, but you've definitely got electricity and magnetism operating actually as one electromagnetic force. So you've got gravity, electricity, magnetism. And he talked about the strong force. Now, gravity is the weak force. And can you even imagine that being a weak force? But what's the strong force? That's for you to think about. What is it that holds your whole body together instead of having electrons flying off your body or quarks disappearing into space? What holds your hands together, all those cells? What holds your eye cells together, your skin cells together? I would argue that it's your strong force. And yet we can't see that either. We can't smell it or taste it or touch it, but certainly we are benefiting from the effects of it. So I just think that we know that the most power in the world, in the universe, is caused by the most subtle. So if you're walking, let's say on the beach, which I just was, and there's a piece of driftwood, if I walk by it, it cracks when I step on it, and you can hear a crack. And that's an indication that there's a certain amount of energy being released from that piece of wood. But if I were in the lab over there at UCSB and maybe looking deeper into the molecules of the wood, what would I find? Eventually, as you go into the deeper and subtler and deeper levels and the most infinite levels, there's ultimately quarks, which come and go based on if you're looking for them. And so what happens though, let's just take a nucleus of an atom. So if you split that rather than snapping a piece of wood, what would you get if you split an atom or you split a nucleus of an atom? You might get nuclear energy or weapons, atomic energy or weapons. So what we're noticing, and this is what's happening for you in meditation and mindfulness, is the subtler you go in creation, the more power you have access to. So we start with our thoughts, right? And what's underneath the thoughts? We've discussed sort of the process of creation in our own little worlds. It's like we have a thought, it leads to an emotion, the emotion leads to a feeling or a behavior, and that behavior leads to a particular action, and it just all starts again. Then we have another thought, and it leads to a feeling, which leads to a behavior and leads to our lives. But what's underneath that thought? Who is the thinker of the thoughts that are going through your mind, that are being translated by your brain? And that is the other question, right? What's that strong force, and what is it that is thinking these thoughts? Who is it that's looking through your eyes? Maybe the answer is one and the same. I don't know. I am not a scientist, but I am one who is very curious. And so those are questions I'm posing to you. What is that strong force that's keeping your whole body together, that's keeping creation together in a constructive way? And then what is it that's looking through your eyes? And are they one and the same? I don't know. That's for you to find out with meditation. And we're going to do that today. We'll just move into meditation. If you haven't been here before, I talk like that. And then I teach you a few things about meditation. Then we meditate for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. And then we open it up for discussion if you want to stay. We're usually done here by about the 40 minutes after the hour. And some people just like to put us on mute after they get into the meditation and continue meditating at their leisure, while others like to hang out and talk. And okay, so the basics of meditation. I always start meditation with mindfulness. Some of you know what mindfulness means. It means paying attention to what you're doing while you're doing it with a non-judgmental attention. That's the textbook. That's the textbook definition. But I would say mindfulness is connecting your loving awareness to the objects of your perception and moving through the world with love and curiosity, as if your eyes, and they say the eyes are the window to the soul, but as if your eyes were beams of love that not only love and connect with everything supposedly external, but then love and connect with everything internal, even the subtlest aspects of you. And we've done the wheel of awareness with Dan Siegel's wheel of awareness, where he takes that beam of awareness or that attention and he turns it back on itself through the analogy of using a spoke in the wheel of a bicycle and then turning it back. And that's what we do with self-inquiry, which we'll do also. So we'll start with mindfulness through a body scan and breath awareness. We'll move through self-inquiry, and then we'll see what happens next. It's okay to have thoughts. It's okay to space out and daydream. But once you notice it, that's called a choice point. And when you do notice it, you bring your attention back again and again and again to whatever the focus is at the time. Could be your breath, could be the body, could be some questions. It's really important to be kind to yourself. I say it every time, but sometimes people go, I just found out that it's really important to be kind to yourself. So I'm saying it again for those people who didn't hear it. And then it's also important not to try to have a certain experience, but instead let the experience unfold. Just like a rosebud turns into a rose. You don't pull the petals apart because I know you've tried it. You know what you get, right? You don't get a pretty rose. Instead, you let the natural experience of your expanded awareness occur because of your practice, and it will happen perfectly on time. And let go of expectations, because that keeps you in that waiting mode. And we just want to just go into the practice without going, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Instead, just let it be what it is, and we can talk about it afterwards. Go and be in the experience. And then lastly, stick with the practice. Okay, thanks for being here. I think I'm going to mute everyone again because I heard a few more noises, and we'll unmute you at the end. I invite you to get really comfortable wherever you're seated, whether it's on a sofa or on a bed or against a wall, on a cushion on the floor, or in the chair. I'm at my desk in my desk chair. And so make some adjustments so that you're really comfortable, because comfort is key. And even though I lived a couple of years in a Zen Buddhist monastery where sitting straight up and not against any wall without moving was really considered the practice, I've learned that most of us are not in a Zen Buddhist center. And so you do not have to do that unless that's your practice, because it certainly can be. I enjoyed it. Okay, so I invite you to either close your eyes or cap your eyes, which means gazing towards the floor, or your hands softly. And by the way, your hands can be face up or face down on your lap, or clasped in a gentle embrace with each other. And as you're sitting here, ideally eyes closed or capped, you can give yourself some deeper breaths through your nose, breathing in slowly and deeply, and breathing out slowly and fully, if you can, through your nose. Take 3 long, slow, deep breaths, as they will send a signal to your body that it's time to relax. Moving into that rest and restore phase. And when you feel like you're resting, you can let your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. Throughout this practice, you'll be breathing naturally. There's no need to sit perfectly still or regulate your breathing or try to have a certain experience. Everything is natural because meditation is natural. It's a natural state. So as you're sitting here comfortably, breathing naturally, I invite you to bring your attention to the reason that you are here today or the reason you are meditating. What word or phrase best describes what you desire from the practice? Let that arise into your awareness, letting your gentle attention rest on it. And now allow your attention to rest on the sounds in the environment. Simply noticing and observing what's around you. Sound is rarely a barrier to meditation. And by paying attention to the sounds around you, you learn to welcome everything and resist nothing. Become curious. Do sounds, are they arising from the silence and returning to the silence, or are they constant? Are they near or are they far? And instead of trying to identify where they're coming from, instead, attend to the sound of the sounds. Notice how they come and go in this moment, just like my voice. There's a saying that you can lose your mind and come to your senses. And that's what we're doing, just for the meditation. And now bring your attention to the sensation of your emotions. Notice what you're feeling emotionally. Is there a strong emotion here? Or is there some residue from something earlier? Tuning into the feeling of the emotion. As you notice where you might be feeling it in your body, if you have any sense of some leftover emotion or present emotion. Notice where in your body it's expressed. And become curious as to those sensations. Would you say it's hot or cool, tight or loose, heavy or light, sharp or dull, tingly or numb? With that same curiosity, we'll begin now to explore the body, letting go of any stories about why emotions are here or sensations are here. Simply noticing the actual language of the body, the language of sensation itself. Noticing now the sensations in your scalp, your forehead, your eyes and your eyelids. We're not trying to make anything up, simply observing what's already here. Noticing the air on your skin, your cheeks and your ears. Noticing your lips, your tongue. And maybe there's a flavor in your mouth. Noticing that. You can tuck your chin just a little bit, noticing what it feels like as the back of your neck lengthens slightly. And letting your shoulders soften. And with curiosity and that observer mode, notice the sensations in your back. Notice the junction points where your body meets the chair or the cushion, or the sensation of your spine as it reaches from your tailbone to the base of your skull. Feel your ribs as they wrap around from your spine to your breastbone. And how they're moved by your lungs as they inhale and exhale. Softening your diaphragm, your belly. Tuning into sensations. And dropping all the labels now. It's just you and the sensation as you move down from your hips and pelvis and groin to the bottoms of your feet. And bringing your awareness now to include your entire body. This body is your best friend, your sanctuary, your home. Notice where it begins and ends. By simply sensing it. Notice the feelings of being alive. the physical sensations of it, like your breath and your heartbeat, and maybe you can feel some subtle pulse in your fingers. Tuning into the breath now, letting it be natural. Following the inhale and the exhale, not trying to change your breath, although it might change on its own. Notice the pauses, the turnaround of the breath. Like the waves that lap on the shore, coming in and going out. Becoming aware of breathing in and becoming aware of breathing out. We'll practice an easy mantra from the relaxation response, or whatever mantra you prefer. Breathing in and then breathing out the word one without moving your tongue or your lips. Breathing in, breathe out one. There's no particular feeling you should be having other than what you're having. Whenever you notice you've lost track, just come on back here, back to the one. Being kind to yourself the whole time. We'll do this for a few minutes. You can stop repeating the word one and simply sit with your eyes closed. Enjoying this stillness. I invite you to explore your inner landscape. See or feel or imagine the beauty inside you. And ask yourself a question now. Who is this one sitting here? Who is this one exploring this beauty? Who is this one living here? So keeping your eyes closed, I'll be sounding a chime to signal the end of meditation. And it's important to sit in stillness for a few moments before coming out of meditation, even if you don't think you went very deep, to honor the in-between. Notice how you're feeling. Even imagining that you're somehow a little closer to that desire that you had for being here today or for continuing your practice. I invite you to even try it on. See if you already have what you want. As you now deepen your breath a little bit, become aware once again of the body, the aliveness. Become aware of the sounds around you. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. It's always important to come out of meditation slowly, at your own pace, not mine. And figure out what your pace is. And when you are ready to open your eyes, you can do so first with a downward gaze. And when you're ready to open your eyes all the way, you can do that, but there's no rush at all. How are you doing in there? How are you feeling? I like to end my meditation by honoring you and the love that lives through you as you, recognizing that beautiful inner landscape and the power and the beauty that you have that expresses itself uniquely through you. It's the same as the love that lives through me and that calls me forth to live my greatest life too. I recognize that same love in all of us, in all creatures on this planet, on all living beings on this planet. So thank you for joining me today. Namaste. How are you doing? Doing okay? So that was a little longer than I thought, of course, again. How are you doing in there? Okay, we got some people in the chat. Lara from Phoenix. Oh yeah, hoping that it'll kill the virus at the 90-degree temperature. It was 85 here today in Santa Barbara. I'm trying to find this one poem, so give me just a minute. I wanted to read to you this poem, A Blessing for Beauty, by John O'Donohue. Hopefully I can find it. I don't know. I don't think I can. Maybe I can. Nope. Here it is. Great faith and great doubt, both sides of the paths of our practice. So if you'd like to listen in, this is one of my favorite poems by John O'Donohue. And I invite you to close your eyes if you want to stay. May the beauty of your life become more visible to you, that you may glimpse your wild divinity. May the wonders of the earth call you forth from all your small secret prisons and set your feet free in the pastures of possibilities. May the light of dawn anoint your eyes, that you may behold what a miracle a day is. May the liturgy of twilight shelter all your fears and darkness within the circle of ease. May the angel of memory surprise you in bleak times with new gifts from the harvest of your vanished days. May you allow no dark hand to quench the candle of hope in your heart. May you discover a new generosity toward yourself and encourage yourself to engage your life as a great adventure. May the outside voices of fear and despair find no echo in you. May you always trust the urgency and wisdom of your own spirit. May the shelter and nourishment of all the good you have done, the love you have shown, the suffering you have carried, awaken around you to bless your life 1,000 times. And when love finds the path to your door, may you open like the earth to the dawn and trust your every hidden color towards its nourishment of light. May you find enough stillness and silence to savor the kiss of God and delight in the eternity that shaped you, that holds you, and calls you. And may you know that despite confusion, anxiety, and emptiness, your name is written in heaven. And may you come to see your life as a quiet sacrament of service, which awakens around you a rhythm where doubt gives way to the grace of wonder, where what is awkward and strained can find elegance, and where crippled hope can find wings, and torment enter at last unto the grace of serenity. May divine beauty bless you. It's always one of my most favorite poems, A Blessing for Beauty by John O'Donohue. So thanks for joining me for that.